talk about how to pay the IRS. Kind of what we've been talking the last couple of weeks, like last week since the numbers came out. But that's what we're going to talk about today. So stay tuned. Let's get started. Again, today's tax talk, we're going to talk about how to pay the IRS. And as I mentioned, last couple of days, we've been talking about last week or 2 weeks ago, the IRS came out with a bunch of numbers. All their numbers told you how many cases they solved, how many were solved with installment agreements, how many were solved with offers and compromise. So there's an article today. The IRS is coming out with some stories about how to solve IRS problems, and that's what this story is. So let's do that. Let me pull that up, and then we can talk about how to solve these IRS problems. Okay. So here's a story I was talking about. It's from Yahoo Finance. Need help paying for the IRS for your taxes? The IRS has several options for you. And remember now, all these options are from the 1990s, where they came up with the offer and compromise, the installment agreement, currently not collectible status. Before that, none of these were available. So again, now they have them. I think sometimes they hold them out as the answer. So let's read a little bit about this in the story. You'll see what I'm talking about. For many Americans who have experienced financial hardship as a result of the pandemic or are generally unable to pay their taxes, the IRS has an entire online section dedicated to different resources available to you. They have a payment plan. The IRS offers a program to meet your tax obligation in monthly installments by applying for a payment plan. This also includes the option of an installment agreement, wherein you pay off your bill in monthly payments instead of a lump sum. You may even qualify to apply online for a long-term installment agreement payment plan if you owe $5,000 or less in combined taxes, penalties, and interest, and filed all your required tax returns. One of and I mentioned this a lot, is that the key to solving IRS problems is about compliance. And so if you owe the IRS money and you try to set up a payment plan, but you have some unfiled tax returns, they won't set up a payment plan for you, right? They won't agree to that. You have to get in compliance first, and that's what this is telling you. One of the benefits of applying online, it's cheaper to apply online, but it's not that much cheaper. I don't think you should make your decision based on how much the IRS is going to set up a setup fee, unless of course you don't really owe that much. Just as you might be able to do with a credit card, you can negotiate with the IRS to cut down on the tax bill you cannot afford. Actually, it's nothing like working with the credit card company. I've worked with many credit card companies to come up with a negotiated settlement. It takes some time with the credit card company, but nowhere near as long as it takes for an offer and compromise. An offer and compromise is not where you call the IRS and say, hey, I know I owe you, $100,000. Will you take 10? Will you take 15? Will you take 50? It doesn't work that way. There's a form which you must file, and the IRS reviews your income, your expenses, and all your assets to determine what they can get. And you must prove that there's a doubt to collectability, that the IRS won't be able to get the money from you some other way. If they think they can get the money from you some other way, they won't agree to an offer and compromise. Yet always, whenever you look at the IRS and you look to the IRS for help, they'll always point you in this direction for the offer and compromise, because it sounds good. It sounds good for them. Oh, sure. Why don't you fill out this form, see if we can do an offer and compromise. One thing that it does is allows the IRS longer to come after you, and that might not be something that you're looking to do. So they always hold this out. As again, a lot of these commercials will hold out the hope that you can get an offer and compromise. Simply pay pennies on the dollar. The IRS gives them all the time, and they really don't give them all the time. We talked about the numbers last week. I mean, it was less than 1% of all cases are settled this way. And so the chances of yours getting settled, not very good, right? In order for you to be eligible, you will have to have filed all your required tax returns and made all required estimated payments. Those who are in open bankruptcy, well, if you're bankruptcy, then they won't work with you until after you get out, because there's an automatic stay in place. You can use the offer and compromise tool. There's a tool that I think leads people to believe that more people qualify than they do. If the IRS determines that you are unable to pay any of your owed tax bill, they might be able to report your account as not collectible. This is what we call currently not collectible status. And if you can get this status, the IRS will leave you alone. They won't collect from you. They won't garnish your wages. They won't freeze your bank account. But it's only temporary. So it's only a temporary solution to your problem. Now, again, if you're having problems paying them, you need some sort of solution, and a temporary solution beats no solution. And so you should get this solution. What people don't realize is that there is a what they call a collection statute expiration date, a date after which the IRS won't be able to collect from you. And if you could stay in currently not collectible status for a period of time, that date might come and go, and then you won't pay the IRS. But oftentimes you might qualify for an offer and compromise instead of that. But again, that's if you don't have any other assets. It gets complicated, and so don't get fooled that this is some easy thing. You just ask the IRS to forgive your taxes, and they're going to do this. So okay, that's why there's so many horror stories out there about people who have owed the IRS money, right? Because it's not that easy. Let me go back and more frequent. Let's go like. Okay, so one of the most frequent ways to solve this IRS problem is through an installment agreement. And so there's a connection here, collection process. This is on irs.gov, collection process, filing, or paying late. And there's lots of information here about how to go about getting an installment agreement. They have an automatic agreement. So if I owe less than $10,000 and I'm going to pay them within 3 years, I can fill this out myself. Most of these cases are going to be determined by this collection information statement, or Form 433. And this is where the IRS is going to review your income. They're going to look at your expenses. They're going to weigh all your equity and see how they can get paid. Because remember, unlike a lot of like your credit card company, who can't in Illinois, your credit card company can't go after your retirement accounts and some of your equity in your house. But that's not true for the IRS. The IRS can go after your retirement accounts and the equity in your home. Okay, so unlike a credit card company, it's much harder to deal with the IRS than the credit card company. What options do you have if you can't full pay? And here's the online installment agreement, the payment plan installment agreements, offer and compromise, temporary delay. Now you can get a temporary delay without their permission. I mean, in that it does take the IRS some time to come after you to get the authority to start taking things away from you. Not a good thing, though. I think you should always address the IRS, show them what you have, and try to get into one of these programs so you're not surprised by going to the bank and finding out that the IRS took all your money, or waiting for your paycheck, or even if I'm in business for myself and I do work for the same companies, the IRS can come in and ask those companies, "Hey, don't pay him anymore. Pay us. This is a levy," and they could take 100% of whatever you're owed by a third party. So in order to prevent that, right, you want to get into some sort of agreement with the IRS. They have the 10 tips on 10 tips for taxpayers who owe money to the IRS. Now, some of these tax bill payments, you can make payments, as we said. Additional time to pay, you can ask for additional time to pay. This is just an installment agreement. Sometimes the IRS will offer you a short, 3 months in order to pay them in full. Electronic funds transfer. So that's just enough. If I have the money, it's just like, well, can I write you a check or electronic funds transfer? That's not, again, it's very difficult if you don't have the money. Installment agreements, online payments agreements. You complete a installment agreement request right when you file, along with your bill in the envelope you receive from the IRS will inform you usually within 30 days whether your request is approved, denied, or if additional information is needed. Usually additional information is needed. This is a collection information sheet which you talked about, the 433, and this is the details of your particular situation and how they're going to make a decision. And then check withholding. You can pay the IRS. You can write them a check. They can take it out of your paycheck, or they can take it out of your bank account, however you want them to take it out. Okay, so there's these options that are available when you owe the IRS. But they make it sound a lot easier than it is, right? And that they hold this offer in compromise like everybody gets it. Again, a lot like these commercials. Whenever you look at a commercial and they tell you, pay pennies on the dollar. This is a good way. We come to us and you'll pay 10 cents on the dollar to the IRS. Well, again, everybody wants that. Very few people get it. Most of these cases are settled in an installment agreement. And so then the question becomes, how much am I going to pay per month and for how long? Right. And this is where tax professionals come in. So we help business professionals solve IRS problems forever. And this is a little bit different than most other outfits. As I mentioned, a lot of this stuff takes a long time to fix, right? Even if you get in an offer and compromise, first it's going to take about a year for them to make the decision. And then even after you're in, you have obligations to them for at least 5 years where they can cancel it. So for instance, if I get in an offer and compromise and then I don't file my tax return next year, they'll cancel the offer, right? And now you owe them again and they can start collecting again, right? If I'm in an installment agreement and it's a 10-year, maybe it's going to take me 5 years or 6 years to pay the IRS. If I miss a payment, they'll cancel my agreement. If I don't file my tax return on time, they can cancel my agreement. Sometimes I've seen where they've canceled someone's agreement for no reason at all. And oftentimes, if I'm in the currently not collectible status, for instance, they're going to come back in 2 years or 3 years or next year, and they're going to ask, hey, can you pay us more now? And they're going to try to do this 433, this collection information sheet again. And they're going to ask to look at your expenses and everything again. And so you're going to be right back where you were before you hired that outfit. So you can go back and hire them again, or you can work with the same group. And that's what we try to do. We try to work with you. Same thing with what they call a partial installment agreement, right? So many of these cases are solved not because you're going to pay them everything you owe them, because if everything you owe them turns out to be more than you can pay. Well, if that's the case, then you're going to get into a partial installment agreement. And a partial installment, same thing with currently not collectible status, right? They're going to come back at you in a year or 2 years, 3 years and say, hey, can you pay us more now? And you're going to have to go through this whole process again. And again, with all of this, you have to stay in compliance. And so that becomes the major thing. A lot of people go back to what they were doing before they had this tax problem. And so you'll see that whenever someone has a tax problem, it's probably lingered for many years. And so you want to take action and solve your IRS problem forever. That's the key to this. Okay, so if you want to find out more about that, you can give us a call. We help people. Again, we help business professionals solve IRS problems forever. You want to find out how to do that? Again, solve it forever. You can give us a call. Sometimes if you owe the IRS some money, maybe you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problems Today. Again, that's Deal with Your IRS Problems Today. You go to freeirsbook.com. Again, freeirsbook.com. I'll give you the book for free. We do ask you to pay the shipping and handling, but that's it. We cover the rest of everything. We give you some free reports and try to help you solve your IRS problem. So if you want to solve your IRS problem forever, take action today. That's what I would suggest. So thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time. We look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Or the next day. Let me see if I can pull this up. Where is it? Okay. So thanks so much for joining us.